Feminine perfumes are usually characterized by floral notes, fruity notes, sometimes powdery notes, but in general they're just kind of light, refreshing, sweet, and all that. So, I mean, even though perfume is technically unisex in my opinion, but if you really want to go for a stereotypically feminine scent, I have some recommendations here. A very, very classic one that you can't go wrong with is Chanel No. 5, and I mean, it's been around for more than 100 years, and there's a reason why it's pretty much one of the most popular feminine fragrances of all time. It's not as popular today as it was in the past, but it's still classic, people still love it. It's a white floral fragrance with aldehydes. Aldehydes make it kind of light and crisp and fresh. The florals are warm, I believe there's jasmine, and some other interesting floral notes, but the base notes really bring it together. It has civet, sandalwood, amber, oak moss, a bunch of other interesting notes, and combined it's interesting because it has this warmth and muskiness, but the floral notes and the aldehydes really brighten it up and give it a nice, feminine, sophisticated sort of aura. And of course, just the name Chanel No. 5 is associated with femininity, classic elegance, and all that. So, of course, just having anything from the Chanel brand is always going to be high quality. So, that's a very good choice. Parisian perfume, French perfume. And if you're looking for something a little bit, maybe not as musky, because the civet note on Chanel No. 5 is pretty strong. If you want something a bit lighter, Red Door is definitely a really good option, by Elizabeth Arden. Red Door is very floral, has some fruity notes, and then it's also powdery. It does have some notes of musk in the base notes, but they're not very prominent. For me, they're hardly noticeable. So, for the most part, Red Door is all about the fruitiness. I believe there's plum, I think there's notes of honey, and that really makes it sweet. Definitely a sweeter fragrance, but not saccharine sweet, not cloying. It still has this natural sweetness, especially from the flowers. There's many different floral notes in Red Door, and it's hard to pick out the individual floral notes, but overall it has this light, sweet presence, and it does have a certain sharp powderiness. And that powderiness makes it unique. It kind of reminds you a bit of baby powder. It's not as powdery as some other perfumes, but it's definitely put there, that note. And it's a really nice casual kind of day perfume. If, going to the grocery store, taking a walk, going to work, Red Door is a really good choice. It's not going to overpower anything. It's not like a party fragrance or anything. It's very good, kind of all-purpose, everyday, casual fragrance. And definitely very feminine, very light, refreshing. Reminds you of walking through a field of flowers. So, very, very pleasant. I can't imagine anyone not liking Red Door. It's pretty inoffensive. The next one is also a pretty popular option among women. Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. And this is a kind of a simple fragrance, but it works very well. The main notes are Granny Smith apple and citrus, lemon, and there are some floral notes, some, refreshing florals. But most of all, the most prominent notes are the apple and the lemon. And just those two notes playing off of each other create a very good result with Light Blue. Specifically, this is Eau Intense. So I don't really know, and there's other variations, but the one that I have is very good, very crisp. That apple note is very, very realistic. You can imagine, snapping open an apple, and that's the smell you get. Along with the lemon, which is very fresh, Definitely something to wear during the summer, the spring. Something if you want to freshen up, you want something really light for maybe a hot day. And very light, very elegant. This is another one that's good for kind of everyday wear, casual wear. And you can't go wrong with it because it's just very simple and very fresh. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. It's not like Red Door. It has more kind of, that citrus sweetness. It's much fainter. It's mixed with some other notes. So, next one here, which is a very, very classic, kind of the epitome of femininity here, is this is L'aile du temps by Nina Ricci, which came out in 1948, and actually the impetus behind the creation of this fragrance was the return of femininity, because during World War II, women were mostly working in factories. They didn't have access to nylon stockings, dresses, any new clothes at all. So they were really just into their work, providing for the war. But after the war, many brands were like, all right, we can go back, women can relax for once. So this is kind of centers around that. They wanted something to promote femininity again, which it does. It's a very light, very pleasant floral fragrance with, similar to Chanel No. 5, it has these touches of warmth from wood notes, some amber, and it's a very well-rounded fragrance. It's not just florals, it's not too sweet, very balanced, very kind of comforting sort of fragrance. Ingrid Bergman, supposedly that was her signature scent. And it's one of my favorite scents. It has those floral notes aren't too sharp and they're not too sweet. I like that they're grounded with the base notes. That brings warmth throughout the perfume. And it is still, it's not too musky or anything or too woodsy. It's still very balanced, very feminine. And let's see. The last one that I have here is Miss Dior, obviously by Christian Dior. This is the reformulation from 2021. I almost said 2001, thinking of Space Odyssey, but 2021. This is significantly different from the original, which came out in 1947. And this is the Eau de Parfum, so it's pretty strong. Mostly floral notes and some fruity notes. Specifically peach, apricot, and also some rose, iris, lily of the valley, but it also has base notes of sandalwood, musk, and vanilla. So, Miss Dior, it has Miss in the name, and you could see from, if you look up like Miss Dior ads from the past, they're all focused on femininity, these big floral bouquets, and it's a very colorful, very bright, and kind of snappy sort of fragrance, and it's sweet, similar to Red Door, but again not too sweet. Although I would say it is, they're both kind of similar in terms of sweetness. So at the same time, it has this unique freshness, which I imagine comes from either the rose or maybe the iris, but again, it's like walking through a field of flowers. It's very fresh, bright. This is even more versatile than some of the others on this list. It could be good for formal wear, everyday wear. You could go to a party, I suppose, with Miss Dior. And again, it's very inoffensive. It doesn't have any strong, overpowering notes. The musk notes are very faint. They're kind of hard to detect. But they still do add a certain complexity to the perfume, so that's always a bonus. And overall, Miss Dior's perfume that's really hard to go wrong with. So that's all I have to say for these, I suppose, typically feminine perfumes. They're all very light, very fresh, sweet to a certain degree. If you have any preferred kind of feminine perfumes that you enjoy, leave those down in the comments below. If you liked the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.